Welcome to the Folktale Project. This is Dan Scholes. Today's story is an English folktale. This is The Blinded Giant. At Dalton, near Thirsk, in Yorkshire, there is a mill. It has quite recently been rebuilt, but when I was at Dalton 6 years ago, the old building stood. In front of the house was a long mound which went by the name of the Giant's Grave. And in the mill you can see a long blade of iron, something like a scythe-blade, but not curved, which was called the Giant's Knife, because of a very curious story which is told of this knife. Would you like to hear it? Well, it isn't very long. There once lived a giant at this mill who had only one eye in the middle of his forehead, and he ground men's bones to make his bread. One day, he captured on Pillmore a lad named Jack, and instead of grinding him in the mill, he kept him grinding as his servant, and never let him get away. Jack served the giant 7 years, and never was allowed a holiday the whole time. At last, he could bear it no longer. Topcliffe Fair was going on, and Jack begged that he might be allowed to go there. "No, no," said the giant. "Stop at home and mind your grinding." "I've been grinding and grinding these 7 years," said Jack, "and not a holiday have I had. I'll have one now, whatever you say." "We'll see about that," said the giant. Well, the day was hot, and after dinner the giant lay down in the mill with his head on a sack and dozed. He had been eating in the mill, and had laid down a great loaf of bone bread by his side, and the knife I told you about was in his hand, but his fingers relaxed their hold of it in sleep. Jack seized the knife, and holding it with both his hands, drove the blade into the single eye of the giant, who woke with a howl of agony, and, starting up, barred the door. Jack was again in difficulties, for he couldn't get out, but he soon found a way out. The giant had a favorite dog, which had also been sleeping when his master was blinded. So Jack killed the dog, skinned it, and threw the hide over his back. "Bow wow," says Jack. "At him, truncheon," said the giant. "At the little wretch that I've fed these 7 years and has now blinded me." "Bow wow," says Jack, and ran between the giant's legs on all fours, barking till he got to the door. He unlatched it, and was off, and never more was seen at Dalton Mill. And that is the English folktale of The Blinded Giant. This is Dan Scholes for the Folktale Project. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, anywhere that you like to get your podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Folktale Project. You can find us on Auto Radio and TuneIn Radio, and you can always head over to folktaleproject.com, where you'll find a new story waiting for you every weekday morning. Thanks for listening.